Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you the Newpowa America 25 watt 12 volt panel and why I chose this panel to recharge my solar power station. Alright, welcome back everybody. Now if you guys remember, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I did a video on this solar power station, charge station, power station, whatever you want to call it. It's the All Powers. It's a 150 watt inverter, as well as two USB plugs, 41,800 milliamps. So it's got a lot of battery in it. Nice quiet fan. It also has the charger on top here, where you can put your phone on there if it's wireless charging, and it will charge it. And I figure this is something really handy for, say, an emergency deployment with my ham radio group, just camping, fun. Maybe an extended bug out where I'm going in my vehicle and I can toss this and the panel in. But that's why I ended up with this panel, because this has very specific needs for a panel. Now the plug in here is a 5mm plug. Oops, I'm too low. There you go. So you got a 5mm plug in there, and that's the input for both the AC and DC power. So I needed something that was going to deliver 18 watts at 12 volts. So that's why I ended up with this panel. Now, a lot of people, I had some friends ask me actually, why I didn't go with a folding panel for this. Well, I have a bunch of different folding panels. The problem is they didn't deliver the 18 volts, and it wasn't going to do me any good because they were just too small. I have a 20 watt panel that got up to 16 volts. It still wouldn't power the power station. It wouldn't acknowledge that there was a power source coming into it there. So I figured, for this kind of thing that I'm going to be doing, first of all, this is going to stay outside of a tent or a bug out location or a campground. I don't want a fabric foldable solar panel. It may be in the rain, it may be in the heat, it may be in the snow. Who knows where I'm going to end up? So I wanted something a little sturdier, and I wanted something a little cost effective. Some of the fold up solar panels on the Power Film are ridiculously expensive. I mean, this was like $120. I'm not going to go out and spend another $400 on a fold-up solar panel. Kind of not cost-effective. So I opted for this one here. Now, this runs about $37.97. It's a 25-watt panel, so that's about $1.60 a watt. That's a pretty good deal for this size panel. The bigger you get, the closer you get to $1 a watt. If I'd gone with a 100-watt panel, probably would have been pretty close to $1 a watt from them. However, the problem is, that's a big panel to carry around. This is, cost effective. It's about 4 pounds, not too heavy, not too bad, so it was easy to carry around. So if you're looking for a solar panel that can deliver 18 volts max to charge any kind of portable solar generator, this one will do it. So let's get into the stats. It's 25 watts. The voltage at Pmax is 18 volts. Current at Pmax is 1.39 amps. Now when I say Pmax, I mean maximum power output. That's kind of the sweet spot of the solar panel, where the output and the combination of volts and amps results in the highest wattage. So you get volts times amps equals watts. So that's kind of your sweet spot where you want it to be, at an ideal function. Now when I tested this outside, I was getting like 30 watts at 21 volts. So it's a little bit rated over what they say it is, so I'm really not complaining about that. So it comes with a pre-attached 3-foot wire with bare ends. It has mounting holes ready, the brackets on the back. It is a monocrystalline panel, and it has a 25-year transferable power output warranty. Now you're going to notice all this stuff. I'll explain that in a minute. But here are your mounting bracket holes. I forget this camera's higher than normal today. There you go. So I'm actually going to turn the camera down a little bit, point you down here, and explain to you why there is this big massive wire. When this came to me, it came to me with just this black cord here, pre-attached, which was good. I added a little bit length. I think it was about 6 feet of, no, not 6 feet, about 4 feet of leftover black and red cord. And then I connected it to an old charger that I used to have. It's a 12-volt charger. It's the plug for a CB radio I used to have years ago. Little portable handheld from Realistic Radio Shack deal. And this is your 5.5mm plug. So the cool part about this is I was able to take this down to a plug that'll fit it. Now, worst comes to worst, later on down the road, if I feel that this is too flimsy of a setup, I can always just wire something like this, a little bit heavier gauge wiring, directly into the box here. But this will work for my use. You know, I'm not pumping thousands of amps through this. And I would say that the wires I'm using are pretty much rated over anything I'm going to be, any kind of voltages or amperage I'm going to be pushing. So I was able to just kind of solder the connectors together, put some shrink wrap on it, and then put a little bit of electrical tape over it just for safety's sake, just to make sure I had everything really good in there. So the panel itself is 22 inches this way, 0.9 inches thick, 14 inches that way, and like I said, about 4.23 pounds. It's sealed all the way inside, so it's nice sturdy aluminum frame. The wires, like I said, the wires that came with it were way above spec for my application. It's got really good performance in the shade. You know, what got me was the other day when I hooked it up and played with it, I had it here and I just had the lights on. And I was just playing around with it. Even before I connected any wires to it, I was just connecting to the bare ends of this black wire. And I was pulling in 14.6 volts with one light on up top. Wow, that's really good because that one light isn't very bright. That's why I have a bunch of different lights in here. Outside in the shade, yesterday was kind of an overcast day. It was, like I said, it was up to, you know, it was doing 1.4 amps, like 22 volts, and about 30 watts. So definitely doing its job. Now, another thing real quick, polarity. Okay, I have to admit I am no electrician. I had no idea which was the plus and minus in a 5mm plug, the inside or the out. So what did I do? And this is just a handy tip, you know, when you start thinking prepper-wise and thinking DIY, you know, do-it-yourself type stuff. I went and I got the charger that came with the kit. It plugs into the wall, and it's just a regular charger. I simply plugged that in, stuck my multimeter in there for positive and negative. I stuck the positive probe on the inside, touched the negative probe to the outside. Guess what? There we go. So I wired this up to test it, you know, just tying the wires together, no permanent connections, before I soldered, and I actually wired it backwards. I noticed that this was positive and this was negative. Switch around the wires, wire everything up, you're done. There you go. So that's, you know, just kind of a way of thinking like a prepper, you know, thinking the ways that you can get things to work. So, video's gone too long already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick demo of this outside. I'm going to show you the panel. I'm going to show you charging up the unit here, this guy here, and we'll wrap it up, let you know what I think of it. So before we went outside, I just wanted to show you this running two different items in here. It's not connected to anything, it's just the panel. I'm trying to cover up the mic so you don't get all that wind noise. But I've got a fan and a little mini swamp cooler, that Arctic Air swamp cooler thing going. And it's running fine, and the reason I'm doing this is because I actually have to run down the battery. I charged this 2 weeks ago. It was still at 100%. So I had to run down the battery to show you it actually accepting a charge. So that's why I'm showing you this. Anyway, excuse the shaky camera because I got my hand over the mic. Hope that gives you a little perspective on how decent this thing holds a charge. Alright, so I have it over here sitting next to my my solar stuff, and in the shade it's pulling in 21 volts. Really not bad at all for just keeping it out in the shade, kind of angled. It's the best angle I can get. It's still fairly early morning here, so it's the best angle I can get right now with the sun being right overhead. Anyway, let's plug it into the generator and see how we do. I don't know if you can see it because the lighting isn't the best here by my door, but it's at 97%, the battery, and it will run for 99 hours with no load on it. So we're going to plug this in, and there's my input. I'm getting 17 watts. It's charging the battery. See the battery moving up and down? So I'm going to let this sit, and I'll bring you back when it's fully done. And I'm not going to really time it down to the minute, but I'm just going to look at a clock and tell you about how many minutes it took. It's still running, and just the light goes off to save the battery. So I'm going to let you know when we come back how long it took, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it. I just wanted to take you outside and show you guys how I have this set up. I just have it sitting here in the chair. Like I said, it was in the shade. It's gotten a little bit more sunny here as the sun's moved up a little bit. So it's doing pretty good. It's still putting in 18 volts into it at 23 watts. So pretty darn good for just laying sideways out here and not really mounted anywhere perfectly. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm going to use this outside. You know, it's going to be used in a tent or some kind of outdoor activity. Maybe even with emergency communications and stuff. So definitely going to come in handy with that little radio and with that little panel and that little solar charger. It allows me to run a few things. Maybe recharge a phone, all that kind of stuff. Now, you can't, on that one, you cannot run the USB and the other power, plug-in power, your inverter, at the same time. It's unfortunate, it's just how it works. Then again, I have my own power bank, my own power build that I did in an ammo can with a 22 amp hour battery in there, so I can always charge stuff up on that. So anyway, that's how I got it laying out. All right, I'm not going to sit here and wait for it to go to 100. It's 99%, and that's normally what it charges up to, and then it'll shut off when it hits 100, but it's almost there. That's under 9 minutes, and I've, almost fully charged it. That was 2 or 3 points down. So 2 or 3 percentage points down. So that's really not bad. I'm getting a steady 17 watts in. It's doing just great. And for my needs, something like this is perfect. Now again, your needs may be different. You may need to really, get a big foldable panel and be able to do it outdoors and carry it with you. But for my needs, what I'm doing, I'm going to be doing it in my vehicle. This might be for use for an emergency response situation where I'm doing something with ham radio and I want like a light and to charge my cell phone. Something like that. Really, really handy, portable, light. This is under 4 pounds. Solar panel's about 4 pounds. So for a little under 8 pounds, you got yourself, power solutions. So let's get it back up on the table with the panel, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it, and I'll give you information on where to pick them up. All right, so that's my review of the panel itself, and my solution to getting a panel for this little power station. I didn't really want to spend a fortune. I know, I built a portable power station over there. Over that way. That's for my ham radio to power it, and it has USB plugs that can power the radio while charging. This was really for any extras. If I bring my mini digital TV, whatever, if I'm glamping, if I can convince the wife to go out camping, or for a bug out location where I may need extra power or smaller source of power than, say, that big generator I built in an ammo can. So it's really just an add-on additional kind of thing, a comfort thing. Out here, we get the heat and we get this humidity, like we're getting in monsoon season. If I was able to plug in a fan, in my tent, oh wow, what a relief that would be. Because even out here right now, I'm sweating like crazy because it's just so humid. And it's just the monsoon season that we get. So if I get a call out, say, for our ham radio communications group, and I got to run, I got a way to keep myself cool at least. This, even if it's all that ever did, that's worth its money. All right, that's all it ever did. It powered a little a fan or a little swamp cooler or something. Even in the humidity out here, the swamp cooler will work okay if you're in front of it. So it's kind of a handy thing to have. It also is way, way more cost effective than going out and buying a $500 solar generator and another $400 panel. For me at least. Remember, I'm just showing you what works for me. You have to decide what works for you. If you live in a small apartment and you don't have a lot of room for panels and stuff, you could stick that panel in the window, keep this thing topped off basically 24/7, and whenever you got a power outage, you can charge your phone or plug in your TV or whatever. I mean, this will power a lot of stuff. It's up to 150 watts. I would say the 150 is more of a surge. I'd say let's be safe and say around 100, 120. I know they kind of exaggerate a little bit, but having the ability to charge it plug in a light bulb or charge a cell phone or charge another light or whatever is a really cool thing to have in the daytime. And you got 125 or 129, I forget, and $37, under $200. You got yourself, a good starter solar system without needing a charge control and a ton of electronics knowledge to put it together or whatever. You got yourself a ready-to-go system. So I will put the links down below for both the All Powers power station, and I will put the link down below for this guy as well. This is a 25 watt panel. They have 35, 100, 150, 300, whatever your needs are. I find them to be very economical. I did ask a question from the company before I did this video, and they were very responsive right away, no problems. And this is my review of something I did. This isn't a paid review or something. I just feel it's a really neat system, and will provide me a little extra power in case of an emergency. Even in my own home, I do have a backup system, which I showed you the inverter there when I was charging this. I do have 2 backup systems with solar panels on my carport out there. But if I need something, say, in the bedroom, if I want to run a fan, I can just carry this little thing in, run the fan all night, put that outside and charge it in the morning. So it's definitely a cool, economical, simple system. For those of you who may not want to get involved with a big, complicated, let's wire an inverter in and have batteries in the house, that's really the easy way to go. So that is my review of the panel and a little more extended review of the all powers. The panel is made by a company called Newpowa, Newpowa, Newpowa America. So I will put the links down below in the description where you can pick up both items. And I'll have my Amazon store under that. Don't forget to check it out. If you feel like supporting the channel, you just shop there. It really helps us out. Don't forget to check out our Olight store. I know Olay has specials always coming up, so you want to check them out. Keep on top of it. Sign up for their mailing list. They got a really bunch of cool flashlights, and it's pretty much all I've been using lately is Olights. And don't forget to check out our Thrive Life store as well. I have a video for Thrive coming up soon, so don't forget to check them out. If you want to get started in some freeze-dried food storage, that's the way to go. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.